Hey everybody, how's it going out there? It's Monday, Veterans Day. I want to give a big thank you to all the veterans out there. And stay tuned. We're going to have a little update on the racing action from Alabama in the SOWF 500. And we'll see what else we can get into. Thanks. Hey guys, how's it going? Got out here to the shop. It's snowing outside pretty good right now. Temperature's been dropping about all day. So I'm hunkered down in here, got the heater going, got my coffee going. So all ready to mess around a little bit on some quarter scale stuff. But first I wanted to bring you some information I received about the SOWF race that they had down in Alabama last weekend. They started out Friday night with the Prelude 125, and that was an interesting race because they were doing green flag pit stops. If you haven't been to a race where they've done green flag pit stops on a quarter scale, it can get pretty exciting. So the big winner for the Prelude 125 was Todd Holloway. Second place was Chad Harris. Randy Brown came in third. Frankie Everhart was fourth. Fifth place was Chris Landers. And sixth place went to Jerry Evans. So congratulations, guys. That was the first win of the weekend for Todd Holloway. So that was a good way for him to get started. So then they came back Saturday and they had practice and they ran the heats and everything. And then for the sprint car, Kevin Ligon come in first place. Todd Holloway came in second. Chris Stump was third. Scott Rance was fourth. And Tony Wachter rounded out the top five in sprint car. Then they had the East Coast Modified A Main. Todd Holloway was your winner again. First place for Todd Holloway. Second place went to Tony Wachter. Third place, his dad, John Wachter. Fourth place was Kevin Ligon. And fifth place was Chris Stump. So then they had a race they called the Sportsman B class. And it was limited drivers, but with a 3-inch spoiler, kind of the way limited used to be before they went to a 5. So they call this the Sportsman B class. They ran a main in it. Brian McBrayer came in first. Chris Landers was second. James Lanier was third. Fourth place was Daniel Rice. Fifth place went to AJ Kelly. And sixth place was Eddie McRae. Then they ran the regular Sportsman B main, which was the big dogs. And the top 4 out of this B main would qualify to go to the A main for the big SOWF 500 lap race. So the winner of the B main was Andy Allen. Second place was Todd Holloway. Third, Scott Meadows. And fourth, John Wachter. Those 4 bumped up to the A main. The remainder of the B main was Tim Smith in fifth, Scott Rance in sixth, Randy Brown in seventh. Eighth place went to Greg Smith. And ninth place went to Eddie Dunn. So that left the big race, the big A main 500 laps SOWF feature race. And they ran 500 laps, and believe it or not, 4 out of the 10 finished on the lead lap. There was some incredible racing. First and second was very close, but first place went to Jerry Evans. I believe he was in a TC3 car. Scott Harper came in second in a TNT. Third place went to Chris Harris. Todd Holloway, who had bumped up, came out to fourth. Andy Allen was fifth. John Wachter was sixth. Seventh place went to Scott Meadows. Chris Stump was in eighth. Ninth place was Tony Wachter. And 10th place was Frankie Everhart. Great race, guys. I did get to see some of that broadcast video. Thanks to Ms. Rance for posting a lot of the races for us. So really appreciated that. But it looked like some really good close racing. Hard to believe 4 cars finished on the lead lap after 500 laps. Then they had a final award. They issued an award called the Spirit of 55 Award. And it was in honor of a couple of racers who had previously passed, Mr. Swearingen and Mr. Parsley. So Scott Harper was the winner of the Spirit of 55 Award. Congratulations, Scott, on that. I know that was quite an honor for you. The Ingalls Indy quarter scale guys have announced that they're going to crown their champions at their banquet on November 23rd, and that banquet will be held at Stump Banquet Hall, aka Chris Stump's house. So contact Chris or Scott Rance for the address and where that's at. I know there'll be a lot of good food and a lot of good times and a lot of bench racing going on there. So that's all the news that I've got for you tonight. So I thought I'd kind of fill in a little bit for some of you newer guys. Do a little segment called Tool Talk. I want to talk a little bit about some of the tools that we use, and I'll bring this camera a little closer here because I know a lot of you guys probably have some of these, but some of the newer guys may not be aware of all of this. So I just kind of wanted to go through a few things. Everybody knows you need Allen wrenches, both standard and metric, to work on the engines. I personally like the ball end Allen wrench because that lets you get into the socket, the Allen socket, without being straight on. Gives you a little more flexibility there. You also need some wrenches, you know, quarter, 3/8, 7/16, maybe half, maybe bigger. Usually 5/8, I believe, for the spark plug. Just a good assortment of wrenches. You need a good assortment of pliers, needle nose, regular pliers, side cuts for cutting off wires or tie wraps. One thing that I use a cordless screwdriver to put my wheel bolts, wheel nuts on and off. I did have a cordless drill that I used, but they can give you too much torque and they can round off a lot of bolts and they can do some bad things. So this one here is a Craftsman cordless screwdriver, and it's adjustable for the amount of torque that it can give, and it's rechargeable, so it works pretty good. I always like carrying it around. You also need a good assortment of screwdrivers, straight blade and Phillips, pretty common stuff. Sockets, I like to carry short and deep well sockets with a good 1/4 inch ratchet. One thing that I carry that is very handy, comes in, I use it quite a bit. I bought a set of 3/8 drive sockets that have the Allen wrench bits in them, as you can see. So they are good for getting into tight places. Now what I put those on, and this is kind of a specialty tool, I have a Matco ratchet, and it's a 1/4 inch ratchet body, but it has a 3/8 drive ratchet head. So I can put these sockets on it and get into some pretty tight places where I may not be able to get with my regular T-handle or a regular Allen wrench. And since it is ratcheting, it does make it a lot easier to get things out. Now you could use a 1/4 inch drive ratchet and put an adapter on it, or maybe find some 1/4 inch drive sockets with the Allen bit. But just having a set of these sockets with a ratchet that you can put them on can really be a lifesaver. Sometimes whenever you find out that you got a bolt broke and you got a main coming up in a couple minutes, it's a lot easier to get this into a spot where you can't really get to the big Allen wrench. So that's all I've got tonight. Hope everybody has a good week. Winter is kicking in, so get those cars ready. Start working on them, cleaning them up. Don't be one of the guys that waits till the last minute to have to order a bunch of stuff, a bunch of parts and everything, and then wonder why you don't have stuff ready in time. Get it started now. Start doing your tear down. Get your parts list made out. Get any tool lists made out, things you need. Maybe slide that list to Santa, so he might bring you some tools and some parts on Christmas. That's always nice. So anyway, you guys all have a great week, and appreciate you for tuning in. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed this one. Leave me comments. You can leave comments on YouTube, or you can leave me comments on any of the Facebook pages, and subscribe to this channel. I think one of the previous videos that I did on here, we've had over 100 likes or 100 views on it so far, and that's incredible. I didn't even realize we had 100 guys in quarter scale. So if doing these videos can help out a couple guys, maybe bring in a few new guys, or if you have some people asking questions, what is quarter scale? Direct them to some of these videos. But be sure and subscribe to our channel, give us some likes, and drop me any comments of anything that you'd like to see, any changes that you'd like to make. So until then, you guys keep getting after it and get those cars ready. It'll be here before you know it. Thanks.